Hi, this is Roy King with Custom Computer Detailing in Natchez, Mississippi. I am revising my tutorial videos this evening, and I'm making a master video of doing the software cleaning scans on PC, Windows PC based computers. And I have a Computer Toolbox up in the upper right hand corner of all the computers that I work on. I create this folder, and within that folder there are some program shortcuts and some raw programs for doing cleaning steps on the computer. And these cleaning steps remove malware infections and rootkit infections and spyware and all types of little programs that you don't really want running on your computer but tend to slip in. So getting back to the laptop that I'm going to be working on, this is my father's PC. My dad actually wants me to do a Windows 10 upgrade on this computer, and I started that process last night and noticed that he had a number of miscellaneous programs of a malicious nature that I didn't approve of on the computer. I asked him how they had gotten on there, since I told him never to install those programs. And you know, he's in his 80s and he says, I don't know how they got on there, I might have put them on there. But anyway, I have to remove those programs if I expect to do a clean upgrade to Windows 10 later. So I'm already done the updating steps on this computer. I've updated all the programs that I intend to upgrade, minus the actual Windows 10 upgrade. So it has Windows 7, I think it's Home Premium, installed for the operating system. And I'm going to run through my Computer Toolbox, and I'm going to run all my cleaning programs that will remove any malware infections and other miscellaneous programs that I don't want on the computer, and I don't want to risk those being transferred and embedded inside my Windows 10 install. So before I get started, that is my business card, the front side. I'm Custom Computer Detailing. I'm located in Natchez, Mississippi. I do this for a living. This is my business. I work out of my home. If you need my assistance and live in the Natchez area or within 50 miles of Natchez, Mississippi, I would be more than happy to assist you with your PCs and other IT and technical needs. My contact number is 601-870-5372, and you can see my email address below my telephone number on my card. And I have about 20 years experience. I began in the IT world with the U.S. Army. I was a computer software systems analyst supervisor, E7 grade, for about 10 years. And that is the back side of my card. A picture of me and a computer with a stethoscope. So I make sick computers well again. Alright, so we're going to remove these cards, and we're going to get started with this cleaning process. So I am going to go into this Computer Toolbox right here. If I've done your computer in the past, in this corner, this right hand corner, you should have a Part 1 help paper, that should be 4 pages, a Part 2 help paper, that should be 4 pages, and a system image help paper, that should be 1 page, for a total of 9 pages. I recommend that you print those. If you don't already have them printed, read through them, try to make some sense out of them, and if they're too confusing, you can always watch my videos, and they should be as clear as I can make them. So I'm going to go into the toolbox right here. When I click on that folder, this opens up. It is my Computer Toolbox folder. I've already done the updates. So the updates run from here, 00A to 00E. I've already done all those updates. And then everything that has a U next to it, like number 5, the Malwarebytes anti-malware program, Spybot Search and Destroy, I've already updated those as well. So we're going through, we're not going to worry about updating anything because everything is updated. I'm just going to do the actual cleaning steps. I'm going to start at number 1 and work my way down this list until I get to number 10. Which is use system protection to create and use hard restore points. So I'm going to start at number 1. Find my little pointer. And I'm going to double click on that. When I do, this program here opens up. This is Cleanup. This is it's a little freeware program that I've found on the internet. It actually only removes temporary files, like temporary internet files. And the computer is a little pack rat, so it will save literally everything you ever click on. It will save a Windows image of that page or a link showing that you've been on that page or whatever. And we really don't need a we don't need to save all this stuff year after year after year after year. And eventually it starts slowing the computer down. The computer's trying to manage all this data in the background. So Windows Cleanup is the name of the program. My dad's had this computer for some time now. He's only ran this cleanup program 3 times, and it was probably, each time it was ran by me. So I'm assuming we're going to find stuff on every cleaning step. I'm just assuming. So I'm going to hit the cleanup button right here at the top. Right here, this top tab. Notice this program comes with sound effects. So it's finished running. It deleted 295 files, or a total of 73.5 megabytes worth of files. And notice down here at the bottom it says cleanup finished on 12/28/17, which is the year 2017, at 23 hours and 7 minutes, which is 11:07 p.m. So I am going to hit this right here where it says close. It's the second tab. And it says to delete 1 or 2 files which were in use when you ran cleanup, you need to log off and log back in or restart Windows. Do you wish to log off now? This is yes or no. It really doesn't matter. But let's just assume that we're cleaning it just a little bit better if we do log out. So let's click the yes tab just so we can see the full process. So it is going to close the window screen. And my dad is Roy King Jr. I'm Roy King III. So we're going to log back in to his login name. So all we've done is ran cleaning step number 1, which is the cleanup program. I double click on the toolbox the second time. My Computer Toolbox folder opens. I'm coming back down here to number 2, which is Internet Options Cleans the History. So I'm going to click on that link. Internet Options Cleans the History right here. And when I do, I get a System Properties page that opens up. And just to keep this simple for the viewer, I'm going to close my Toolbox folder here in the background. I'm going to X out of this folder so you're not being confused by it. So, Internet Properties. This is a Windows page. I've just got a shortcut on the computer in the toolbox that takes me to this page inside of Windows. And it shows me when I open up Internet Explorer what my home page is going to be. I've got this one set to yahoo.com. But we're more interested on this particular page down here at the bottom where it says Browsing History. And notice it's pre-checked. It says delete browsing history on exit. Well, we're going to go a little further. We're going to see where it says delete temporary files, history, cookies, save passwords, and web form information. And then again, it's pre-checked here, delete browsing history on exit. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit this delete tab, and another window will pop up. So I'm going to hit delete right here. And the second page pops up. And just to show you that is a true second page, I'm going to move it off the second one just a little bit. So this is the page that the shortcut opened. Internet Properties. We clicked here and it opened this page where it says delete browsing history. Now notice that the front tab is unchecked. This is what the computer is going to save. And everything below this is what the computer is going to throw away. So this little mystery line right here, that separates what it's saving all the time versus what it's going to throw away. And because we're doing cleaning steps, we want to throw away everything that's considered a temporary file. So right here where it says temporary internet files and website files, cookies and website data, history, download history, form data, passwords, tracking protection, ActiveX filtering, and do not track. We are going to check. Right now the default is everything is checked with the exception of cookies and website data and passwords. That's how you want the computer set up the majority of the time. But when you're cleaning, when you're actually taking the time to clean, we want to check everything. So we're going to add a check to cookies and website data. We're going to add a check to passwords. And we're going to come down here where it says delete. And notice that this working box popped up. It says deleting browsing history. So where it says deleting history, deleting add-ons. It got pretty fast there at the end. Anyway, we've completed that. It is gone. Whatever it was saving, it deleted. And now we're going to go back in a second time to browsing history. Again, all we have open right now is the Internet Properties window. We're going to click on that delete tab again, and we're going to change our settings back. Let me go to find the little thing there. So we open it up a second time. Again, I'll slide it over so you can see that that is a second window. And right now we've got everything checked below this line. That's how we want it for cleaning. But we want to uncheck the cookies and website data now. And we want to uncheck the passwords. Now, the reason we want to uncheck it before we leave this step is because we may have a shortcut on our desktop to automatically open our email or our Facebook account. And you may not want to have to enter your complete email address and your complete password each time you go to open up your email or your Facebook. So if you want the computer to have the opportunity to save your login name and passwords, when you're not cleaning the computer, this needs to be unchecked and this needs to be unchecked. Okay, so I've put my changes back the way I want them. I'm going to hit delete a second time. I'm going to back out just a little bit. And there's my little progress box. Alright, and it's closed. Now the last thing I want to do on step number 2 is I want to come down here. I'm still on that Internet Properties page. I want to come down to the very bottom and I want to hit apply. And that's going to save my changes. So my changes being, this is unchecked and this is unchecked. Alright, so I've already saved the changes. I don't need to save them twice. I'm just going to hit cancel this second time. This is just for demonstration. Alright, so I've now done cleaning steps number 1 and number 2. Internet Properties or Internet Options cleans the history is number 2. So all I need to do this now that I've already applied it is just X out of this page up here at the top. Go back in the Toolbox folder. We're going to go to cleaning step number 3. Number 3 is going to be Galeri's Utilities cleans the registry. Now, for those of you that are familiar with other registry cleaning programs, you may be familiar with one that's called CC Cleaner. CC Cleaner is a great registry cleaning program. It does pretty much the same thing that Galeri's Utilities does. I'm just more familiar and comfortable using the Galeri's Utilities program. If you have the one, you don't need the other. Okay? But they're both good programs. I just happen to use Galeri's. So I double-clicked on it. When I did, this box here pops up. It says user control, account control. Do you want to allow the following programs to make changes to your computer? And then it lists the Galeri's Utilities program, which is version 5, update number 90. It doesn't show update 90, but that's what it is. This is current, and update 90 is the current version. And so I do want to go in and clean my registry. And this is just, this here is called a Windows firewall. So it's seeing that, this program could, do a lot to my computer do I want to allow it to continue? And in this case, I do. So I'm going to say yes. And when I say yes, the Glares utility programs opens. It's running in the on top. And if I look behind it, I can see this. This is my Computer Toolbox, what's hidden behind it. So I know that after I run this program here, I'm going to restart the computer. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and close my Computer Toolbox. So I'm just going to hit the red X up here in the top. It's closed. The only thing that's still running is the actual Glares Utilities program. Now, this program is set to clean the registry, shortcut fixer, spyware remover, tracks eraser, temporary files cleaner, and startup menu, or startup manager, excuse me. So those are the areas that it's going to look to make improvements in. Now, the disk repair, that actually checks the hard drive for sector errors on the hard drive. We're not going to run that on this particular program. We're going to leave that unchecked. All right. And I want to point out one other thing. A lot of people fall for this little teaser down here at the bottom. But you notice all these things down here at the bottom. You get over here to this one, and it says 10. All right, that is a little teaser that's built into this program that tries to get you to download this driver update program. Don't click on that. All right, that is not what we've got this program for. If you download that, you're going to open up a whole new can of worms. So don't click on that and install that driver update program. I promise you, this computer does not need 10 driver updates. Okay? So this is where we're at. And by the way, you may notice that this tab is a little darker here where it says click maintenance. We have an overview tab and we have a advanced tools tab. We're pretty much going to stay on the advanced maintenance tab. So where it says Registry Cleaner, well, I've already gone through the list once before. So all we need to do to start this program is come down to where it says scan for issues and click on it. Now, I expect you to find something using every single cleaning program. It's been a while since this computer's been properly cleaned. There's no telling how many little things it's going to find. So this might be an excellent computer for this tutorial video. So we're still running. You zoom in a little bit so you can see what it's working on. So right now it's looking for temporary files. It's trying to find all the temporary files that are still in the computer. And now keep in mind, we've already ran that cleanup program, and we've also ran the Internet Options Cleans the History. So we've already run 2 cleaning programs that looks for temporary files. And in spite of that, we still found 490 megabytes of temporary files. So now it's looking for I'm still working on it. So it identified those problems, and I think I missed explaining a step. I think I may have done it without even thinking about it. But once you do the original scan, the next thing that pops up is fix problems. And I think I clicked on that without even thinking because it's actually going through the process of removing all the little problems that it found. See up here in the Registry Cleaner, it says it's already, problems are solved. It's under Tracks Eraser, it's already erased those tracks. Under temporary files, it's still cleaning, it's still getting rid of those 490 megabytes of temporary files. So it's basically throwing them in the deep trash. All right. And there was no problems with the startup program, so there's nothing there. So it's only working on throwing away the temporary files, which most of those are going to be internet related. And some of those could be old installation files as well from program updates that we've done in the past. So we're getting there. And I'm holding the camera with my hand. I hope I don't give anybody seasickness or anything. I am trying to hold it as steady as possible, but I don't have a tripod mount here, so I'll apologize up front about that. Alright, it's almost finished. Even though it says 100%, it's still working on something, see? See, it says 100%, but it's still working. It's kind of like waiting and watching paint dry here. I'm going to try to explain as much as possible during these videos. I'm trying to make one master video that just has all the cleaning steps in it. In the past I've had like a part 1, part 2, part 3. It may have been confusing for some viewers. And I'm going to try to post a longer than 15-minute video to just show it from start to finish. So we're still showing down here 100%, and it is still deleting temporary files even though it indicates it's at 100%. So that's always kind of odd when it says it's at 100%, but it's still working on lots of stuff. That's just the way this program works. Alright, so it finally finished, and it says Registry Cleaner. It had something like 16 problems. It fixed those. Didn't find any problems with the shortcuts. Where it says, talks about software remover, it really doesn't do an effective malware removal process, so don't trust that in any way, shape, or form. Disk repair, that again, that's going to check for bad sectors on the hard drive. I choose not to use this program to do that. It's kind of that should be done by itself. If you think you have bad sectors on the hard drive, that's a completely different repair process, and I don't think it should be combined with this other stuff. Tracks eraser, it did find some tracks and it erased those. Temporary internet files, it found a whole bunch of those. And Startup Manager didn't find any problems in that. So it's back to where it says scan for issues, so we can repeat the process a second time, or we can just close the program. And since we basically have done what we want to do here with this program, we're just going to come up here to this X, and we are going to exit out of this program. And once we've exited out of the program, we're going to come down to the bottom start button right here. We're going to open it, and we're going to say, kind of come over here to just the right of where it says shut down. We're going to hit that, get on that little arrow right there, and when we do this, pop-up box will appear, and we're going to select restart. So the computer is shutting down, and it's going to restart. Whenever you run the Glares Utilities program, because it's making changes to your actual registry of the computer, you should always restart the computer afterwards. The registry is a very important part of your software, and we don't want to clean the registry and then do 20 other things before we restart. The way software works is, if you're installing software, nothing's completely installed until you restart the computer. If, on the other hand, you're deleting software, nothing is completely deleted until you restart the computer. So, since we're messing with the registry and we're adding or removing programs, same principle applies. We need to restart the computer after we do that step. Alright, so the computer has restarted. We're going to go back in. We've done cleaning steps 1, which was the cleanup, which removes temporary files. We ran Internet Options, cleans the history. That's number 2. And deleted a bunch of temporary files. And then we ran the Glares Utilities program, which was number 3. And we deleted a whole bunch of temporary files and cleaned some other registry stuff during the same process. So we're going to come back in the Computer Toolbox right here. And we're going to work down the 4s. And I've just decided just yesterday that I was going to change the order in my toolbox. So my new order is for the 4s is number 4A, the Kaspersky antivirus TDSS killer program. Now that particular program right there, 4A, that is made by an antivirus company called Kaspersky, but this particular removal program only looks for rootkit infections. Now I've got it marked in such a way that says TDSS killer, downloaded 12/28/2017, and that was actually this morning, probably about the time the sun was coming up, and it's almost midnight now, so later, it was much earlier in the day, but it was the same date. And then this next program is called Mcafee Rootkit Removal Tool, and it was downloaded on the same date. You just can't see it because we'll need to spread that over for you to see the rest of the notes. 4C is NPE, which means Norton Power Eraser. That is not the full Norton antivirus scan. That only removes rootkit infections. It was also downloaded 12/28/2017. And the 4th one is 4D, Malwarebytes, not anti-malware, but Malwarebytes Adware Cleaner. And that is this week's version, and it was also downloaded last night. There's a new version of it, comes out weekly. So pretty much all the 4s look for rootkit infections. So this one, I'm sorry, let me go back up here. TDSS killer, Mcafee Rootkit Removal Tool, Norton Power Eraser, and Malwarebytes Adware Cleaner. All 4 of those are looking primarily for rootkit infections, and that's a very specific type of malware that you don't want on the computer. So we're going to start at number 4A, the TDSS killer. Let me use my little mouse here. So 4A, TDSS killer. I'm going to double click on it. It comes up. We can see the Kaspersky K there, made by Kaspersky Labs, TDSS Rootkit Removal Tool. And this is a Windows firewall. We're going to say yes to it to allow it to happen. All right, it's loading the program. First thing that it did, it had a little window that popped up where it was actually checking online to make sure this wasn't a version that was way out of date. And this version is not. I just downloaded it last night. But let's say it was 6 months old. It may tell me that there's a newer version available and give me the option to download that newer version. If that's the case with your computer, and this is a computer I've worked on previously, and you want the latest version of the program, by all means, download it, save it to your desktop, rename it 04A, drag it into your toolbox, and delete the older version. All right. But in this case here, we've got the latest version. So I'm just going to come down here. This is an agreement page. You have to click on this every time you run this program. I accept the terms of using the software, basically. And there's a second accept page. All right. So it's starting to open the program, and it has. And so it's Kaspersky TDSS Anti-Rootkit Utility. This utility is designed to detect and remove known rootkits, such as TDSS, SST, a whole bunch of others there. A reboot might require after disinfection. A reboot might require after disinfection. I'm not sure who wrote this software, but their English isn't the best there. All right, so at least American English. So we're going to click right here where it says Start Scan. I'll back out just a little bit so we can see it. All right. This scan only takes about a minute, maybe not even a minute. Depends on the speed of the computer. So that's all it's looking for there. It's only looking in some specific file locations. It's not scanning the entire computer. So, and it indicates 15 seconds. In 15 seconds, it completed that entire scan. And it only looked for rootkit infections, and it found none. So no threats found, none were neutralized, and none were quarantined. Well, I guess that's kind of good for this computer. I was expecting to find something, but I was wrong this time. So I'm going to hit close down here, right there. All right. So I'm going to go back in my toolbox and I'm going to select number 4B. I'm working my way down my list. So 4B is going to be the Mcafee Rootkit removal tool. It's right there. So I'm going to double click on that. Again, this is a Windows firewall. It says, do you want to allow the following program to make changes to your computer? And they're identifying the Mcafee program. This is not the Mcafee full antivirus program. This is just the rootkit removing program. Alright, so it is not. This is not a full antivirus scan. We're going to say yes. So this is what it opens up, kind of like an old DOS window. Alright. So it says that it was checking for updates. It didn't find any. It scanned for user mode threats. The scan completed that quick. See, it says scan finished. It said or scan results, no Trojan or viruses found. Scan finished. Press any key to continue. At that point where it says press any key to continue, I can press any key on my keyboard and that window should disappear. Alright, so I'm going to just press the space bar. And that little pop-up window went away. So we've now completed 4B, the Mcafee Rootkit removal tool. The next one that we're going to run is the Norton Power Eraser. All right, that also looks for rootkit infections. Here's our Windows firewall again. We're going to say yes to the firewall to allow the Norton Power Eraser program to run. And I'm going to close my toolbox here in the background. Alright, another agreement page, end user licensing agreement. Alright, these are all free programs, so it's not going to cost you anything to say accept. So you can read all this if you want to. It's a lot to read, but it's a free program. So we're going to hit accept, and it opened up a little update window to make sure that we had the latest version or a fairly recent version of Norton Power Eraser, and we do. I'm going to click right here where it says scan for risk. It says use Norton Power Eraser to find and fix risk on your computer. Again, this is a Norton product, but this is not a full antivirus scan. It's only looking for rootkit infections. So we're going to come over here and we're going to click on this big box right here where it says scan for risk, and it's going to tell us that it can't run the scan right now. It says to perform a rootkit scan, Norton Power Eraser needs to restart your computer. Do you want to restart now? So basically, the Norton Power Eraser program, it runs the scan as the computer is starting up. It runs a complete scan. So it's scanning for these infections before they have a chance to open and populate the computer. So we're going to say restart. We're going to click right here where it says restart because we want this program to run. And Norton Power Eraser, well, we didn't get a chance to read it. But basically the computer is being told to shut down by the Norton Power Eraser program. The computer just shut down. It's going to come back on. And the moment the Windows page launches, the Norton scan will take off. The Norton Power Eraser scan. So it's scheduled as a task now on this next startup. So here's our Windows page starting up. Here's our desktop icons. There's that Norton Power Eraser program. Notice I didn't touch anything. It opened and started running on its own. It's where it says it's scanning the computer. Now it's not scanning every single file on the computer. If it was, it might take hours. It's only looking in the locations where the rootkit infections could possibly hide and do the damage that they do in terms of your user experience. So rootkits are kind of like, you know, certain types of sicknesses. They can only live in certain environments, or in this case they can only live in certain locations inside the computer software. So the Norton Power Eraser program knows that, and it's only looking in those locations where it knows the rootkit infections can reside and cause the problems that they cause. So it's scanning all those little subdirectories. And again, this is a Windows 7 computer. It's actually Windows 7 Professional 64-bit. We've got one more cleaning step in the 4s, which is going to be 4D. When we get to 4D, when we finish 4D, that's the Malwarebytes adware cleaner. I expect it to find something. So far, we hadn't found anything. So it said Norton Power Eraser, scan completed, no threats found. So again, it's great for the computer, not necessarily real great for my tutorial, because I can't show you the process of removing them if I don't detect any, but that's just the case here. So I'm just going to hit exit down here in the bottom corner of that pop-up box for Norton Power Eraser. Alright, so it didn't find anything, so we're going to go to 4D in the toolbox. Open up the toolbox again. 4D is the Malwarebytes adware cleaner, so I'm going to double click on it to launch it. Alright, that's just our Windows firewall saying that this program is trying to run. Do we want to allow it to continue? And the answer is yes. Alright, and here's our terms of service. Basically, it's an agreement page, just like we've seen over and over again. Again, this program is made by Malwarebytes, and it's just their adware cleaner version of malware removal, and it only looks for rootkit infections just like the previous 3 programs. So we're going to say I agree versus I disagree. If we hit I disagree, the Windows, this Malwarebytes adware cleaner box will close, so it won't do anything. So we want to hit I agree. And when we do, just to make this a little simpler for y'all to look at, I'm going to close the toolbox here in the background. It really doesn't matter, but it does look better if there's only one thing open at a time. And I'm going to click over here where it says waiting for action. So it's waiting for us to tell it what we want it to scan for. And we're going to say right here where it says scan, look for adware/pups. We're going to click on that, see where it says it's checking for updates, it's updating the database. In just a second, it's going to start actually scanning. This program is up to date because I just downloaded it the other day. Yes, well, actually this morning. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can read that a little better. And this doesn't take long, so, and remember I'm standing here holding this camera, so it doesn't weigh much, but when you hold something, that doesn't matter whether it's a pencil or something that weighs 10 pounds and you have to hold it out in front of you, it tends to feel heavy if nothing else after a short period of time. So thank goodness these programs don't take that long to run. So it seems like it's stuck, but it's not. It's running. And then the nice part is, moving along a little bit, the nice part of me doing it this way is I'm going to post this unedited basically to YouTube, to my channel. So you can see approximately how long each one of these cleaning programs is going to take, because I'm not cropping out major stuff. Just looking at the registry. Alright, so it just finished. Now, this is the notepad message. Adware, see where it says notepad? So it's just telling us in the notepad message what it did. Unfortunately, the way it's sitting on the screen, we can't really see the page we need to see. The page we need to see is right here behind it. So we're going to click on that page there. Notice all the stuff that it found. It found Slim Cleaner, Driver Update, RegCure Pro. These are some of the programs that my dad installed that I told him never to install, and he does it over and over again. So it's just, you know, when you work in IT and you got family, you know, you can tell them 20 times and they're going to keep doing it. So you just have to bite your lip, your tongue, curl your toes, whatever, and just fix it and tell them not to do it again, and you know it will. So anyway, everything is pre-checked for us here. So these are the things that we're going to try to remove. Everything there, it's all pre-checked. Scroll down, see it's all pre-checked. And at this point, the scan has been finished for about a minute. It found 20 elements or 20 file points that it didn't like, that it wants us to clean. It's already selected them for us. All we have to do is click right here where it says clean. Remove the selected elements. See, they're all selected by the check marks. So we're going to click there. It says all processes will be closed. Please save your current work, if any. So as soon as we're doing something else, like typing a research paper or something, but we're not. So we're just cleaning the computer. So we're going to say OK, because we know everything else is closed. It's actually going through the cleaning process. It's finished. So everything that it selected, all 20 of those infection points, we're assuming that it's completed and it's completely removed all those. And down here in the little reboot box, it says Malwarebytes Adware Cleaner must restart the computer to complete the removal process. So we're going to click reboot now. And everything else closes on its own. Computer is shutting down for the, what, like the 8th or 10th time now. Alright, so as it opened back up again, it gave us another notepad message from Adware Cleaner, and it tells us what it found and what it deleted. And see all these deleted. Alright, so we're assuming that everything is clean now. Now, if we wanted to take the time, all I did was I closed that little notepad message. If we wanted, we could come back into their toolbox. We could come back to 4D, which was the program that we just ran, Malwarebytes Adware Cleaner, and we could rerun it. All right. I feel pretty confident that it successfully removed all 20 of those infection points. So we're not going to do that. But because it did make some changes, and the changes required a restart, I always like restarting the computer a second time at this point. So I'm going to come down to the start button down here. I'm going to click start. I'm going to hit the little over arrow next to shutdown, and I'm going to tell it to restart again. All right. Now during this restart, I'm going to look over here for my F8 button. Sorry about that. F8 is right here. As the computer starts to restart, I'm tapping my F8 button on my desktop. And when I do, I get this advanced boot options. What I'm attempting to do is to go into safe mode with networking. That's what I want to do. So the next two cleaning scans, which is number 5, Malwarebytes Anti-Malware, and number 6, SpyBot Search and Destroy, I want to run those while I'm in safe mode with networking, right? Rather than my regular Windows page. So to get to safe mode with networking, my mouse doesn't work, or this mouse over here, it doesn't work. So when you're in safe mode, it doesn't work. So the way to get this to move from here down to here is these arrow keys right here on the keyboard. So I'm going to try not to block the light here and hit my down arrow a couple times, and I get to safe mode with networking. Again, I tap the down arrow down there a couple times, and now I'm going to hit the enter button to go into safe mode with networking. Now, in my help paper, I call this the gobbledygook page, because unless you write code, it really means nothing to you. It's just the page that has to load to get you to safe mode. And this is what safe mode with networking looks like. You may recall, if you've got a decent memory, that the normal desktop background is a space shuttle sitting on Launchpad. And here we just have a black background. We don't have the space shuttle. And the icons are in a different layout. They're bigger, the icons are larger than they were before, and they're all kind of pushed to the left. And also in each corner it says safe mode, safe mode, safe mode, safe mode. So in each of the corners it reminds you that you're in safe mode. And we can look down here and see that right there shows that we're connected to the internet. So that's with networking, safe mode with networking. That's the networking part of it. So if we needed to, we could get on the internet right now. If we needed to download an update to, say, a video driver or something, we could actually do that now. But all of our updates are current. We're not going to do any updates at this moment. We're just cleaning. So another thing, when I first launched the safe mode page, a little information window popped up over here. It's going to pop up every single time that you open safe mode with networking. It's just Windows trying to educate you, or Microsoft trying to educate you. Just close that window when you see it pop up. And I apologize for not referencing it before I clicked on it to close it, but I did this so often that sometimes I don't even think about what I'm doing. I just do it. Computer Toolbox, that's where we're headed. It used to be over here. Now it's down here in safe mode on this particular computer. So we're going to move our little pointer down there, and we're going to double click on it. What we're trying to do here, we've already done, just a quick recap. We started right here with cleanup. We did cleanup, cleans the history. We did internet options or internet properties, cleans the history. Glares utilities, cleans the internet options, cleans the history. Glares utilities, cleans the registry. And then we look for rootkit infections using 4A, B, C, and D. Now we're going to do Malwarebytes Anti-Malware, which is a full Malwarebytes scan. And we're going to do SpyBot Search and Destroy, which is a full Malwarebytes scan. So those are the only two that we're going to do in safe mode. So we're going to get our pointer over here. We're going to go to number 5. We're going to highlight it by clicking on the left side of the mouse once. To highlight it, we're going to right click on that mouse on the other side to get that little pop-up window to appear. So I've got Malwarebytes highlighted I got the pop-up window, and now I'm going to come up here, see where it says Run as Administrator. I want to come up there and select, I want to run it as administrator. Even though I'm logged in as an administrator, I want to elevate my command as an administrator level command. So I'm going to click Run as Administrator. And when I do, we will see the Malwarebytes program start to launch. And it's on top of my Toolbox folder right now. So this is the Malwarebytes anti-malware program. I've got version 2.2 installed. There are version 3 point whatevers of this Malwarebytes program. I like the 2.2 program, so that's what I have installed. I'm not interested in, at this time, downloading a newer version of Malwarebytes anti-malware, and it's telling me that there is a newer version already downloaded. It just wants to install it. Just please let me. Well, we're not going to let it. We're going to say later on that. So we only have two options, okay and later. So we're going to say later on that. All right. The database version is version 2017 12/29/01. Well, look, today's date is only 12/28. So how can that be? Well, the next day's version actually comes out late in the day prior to. So we've already got the version for tomorrow downloaded, at least version number 1, or update number 1 of the day. So 12/29/2017, update number 1 of the day. And during the course of a day, there might be 8 or 10 updates for the Malwarebytes program. So keep that in mind. So this is where we're at. We're going to say scan now right here at the bottom, and it will start a full scan. So that's all we're going to click on, and this is what it looks like. It's scanning, it's checking for updates. It's going to do pre-scan operations, scan the memory, scan startup files, scan the registry, scans file systems, and the last one is, however you pronounce that, analysis. All right. I could pronounce it, but I would be wrong, and somebody would be correcting me in the comments. So we've got that one running as administrator. While it's running, it may take 15 minutes to run. It might take 10 minutes to run. It might take 25 minutes to run. But we want to utilize our time as effectively as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the toolbox. This is going to be in that little folder sitting on the desktop. It should be there. And we're going to come up here to number 6U, Spybot Search and Destroy. Again, we're going to right click once to highlight it. We're going to, left click once to highlight it. We're going to right click once to get the pop-up box. And we're going to scroll up and we're going to say Run as Administrator. So now the Spybot program is also launching. At this point, I can close this toolbox. All right. So there's my Spybot program. My Malwarebytes program is still scanning. I've got the Spybot program that just popped up on the screen as well. So I got two programs running at the same time, and I can see that down here at the bottom. This one is the Malwarebytes program. This one is the Spybot program. And I'm going to drag that over a little bit so we can see it a little better. So I've already done the updates earlier, and I'm not doing any updates in this particular video. This is just strictly for cleaning. But I'm going to select up here where it says check for problems. And when I do, this page appears. So Spybot Search and Destroy, it is actually doing a scan right now. Scan for problems and remove them. It says this is the main scan page of Spybot Search and Destroy. Here you can scan your system, check for problems, and fix any problems found. Hint, if you haven't done so far, we recommend you read the tutorial see the help menu to learn how to deal with the scan results. So basically, if it detects any infections at all, you want to remove those infections, and that's pretty much the information in the tutorial. So has it found any here? This is the progress bar for the SpyBot Search and Destroy down here at the bottom. It is just starting. It's got to work its way all the way across. And as for the Malwarebytes, it's probably going to finish first. And it has already found 4 objects. So this is the Malwarebytes program running. And notice under detected objects it shows 4 detected objects already. And it's already over on the last little step. But the last little step takes the longest. So see, it just jumped to 21. So it was at 4 a second ago, it just jumped to 21. So this program is actually finding some stuff. And this is after we've already done cleaning steps 1, 2, 3, 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4D. So you can kind of see why you need to run all these programs. It would be awesome if there was one program that just removed everything. I promise you the best version of Norton antivirus or the best version of Mcafee does not do it. So it takes a village when it comes to cleaning up infections. So here it just finished the Malwarebytes scan. It found 26 things that it didn't like. 26 of 26 threats are selected. So if I'm not able to see the full screen here because I'm in safe mode. Alright, so they're pre-checked for me, and I can see driver, reviver, download assistant, security reviver. I'm not even sure what some of those are. Remote optimizer. Well, it doesn't matter what they say they are. If Malwarebytes says they're bad, I've been using this program for a long time, and if they say it's bad, then who am I to argue? They know more than I do. So I am going to kind of drag my page back over here to the other side, and I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom, and I can see some of those things, some of those others, a lot of remote optimizers. So we can see the different locations where the infections are located. And see where it says here at the bottom, this little box here says Malwarebytes anti-malware. Scan completed, non-malware detected. Malwarebytes anti-malware has finished scanning the system, and one or more potentially unwanted objects has been detected. Click here to view details. Well, I can see the report right there. So I'm just going to hit that X right there to get rid of this little pop-up box. And I'm going to say remove selected because everything should be selected. If I drag this back over, see, everything is pre-checked. The top little box is pre-checked. So all 26 of those is selected. So I'm going to say remove selected at the bottom. And it says threat scan, 26 threats were successfully quarantined. And the little sub box says Malwarebytes anti-malware. All selected items have been removed successfully. A log file has been saved to the logs folder. Your computer needs to be restarted to complete the removal process. Would you like to restart now? Normally I would say yes, because I've identified some things that I didn't want. I've selected them, I've removed them. Computer wants to restart so it can completely finish the removal process, but I can't restart because I'm still running my SpyBot program in the background. See, it's still open and running. So all the Malwarebytes program needs to do is restart, and for now I'm going to tell it to restart later. So it says, would you like to restart now? I'm going to select no, simply because I've got another program still running, and I am going to drag that over so I can get to this X up here, and that's for the Malwarebytes program. I'm just going to close the Malwarebytes program. Alright, So the only program that's still running now is my SpyBot program, and I'm going to drag it back up to occupy the full page, and it's only right there. So it's going to be a few minutes apparently. We're right at 1 hour in the video. So since I modified the order of my toolbox, we are finishing up. SpyBot Search and Destroy is number 6 in the 1 through 10 toolbox cleanup steps. And when this scan finishes, anything that it finds, if it finds anything at all, it will display them here in this printout section. They'll usually be red. We will the lettering will be in red describing what it's found. We'll make sure that there's any boxes that it presents, that there's check marks in every check box in front of it, and we will tell it to remove those items, and it will do that just like the Malwarebytes program did, and then we will restart the computer. When we restart, we'll restart it in normal mode, not in safe mode. So the Malwarebytes program at that time will display a completed report on the desktop, just like the adware cleaner did earlier on the restart. And at that point, we should be finished with cleaning steps 5 and 6. Now, cleaning step number 7A is the Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool. That scan takes several hours to run. It can actually take all night to run. It can take like 4 or 5 hours to run. It basically, based on the time that it takes for it to scan, it's like if I'm going to run that scan on a customer's computer, I'm going to start it right before I go to bed, and then I'm going to get on the covers. And when I wake up in the morning and I scratch my head and try to remember what I was doing last before I went to bed, I'll go over and I'll shake the mouse on the computer. When the screen repopulates or comes back from hibernate, it's going to show me that the Windows Malicious Software Tool finished, and it's going to tell me whether it found anything or not. And usually if it finds anything, it fixes it automatically, like it self-quarantines it or removes it. Here on this program here, we're starting to find some of the problems that we had earlier. So where it says PCC Cleaner Pro 2015, that sounds very similar to that program that I had from Malwarebytes. It was Malwarebytes Adware Cleaner. Well, just because they both have cleaner in the title does not mean they're the same program. That is a completely different program. That is an infection. Where it says driver support, that's probably part of that drivers update program that I told you not to click on in the Glares Utilities program that said I had 10 driver updates. Well, you know, my dad, he's 84, he clicks on everything, I guess. So he's gotten these infections, doesn't know how he got them. I know how he got them. He clicked on everything. But they're there, we're trying to get rid of them. So it's still got a ways to go, but it is getting there. And the little blue progress bar, sometimes when it's scanning, it will, like, it's not moving at all, and then other times it just zips on across the screen. So that kind of gives you a visual reference to see where it's at in the scanning process, but that is not a true clock. So if it looks like it's done, it's like it's going to finish any second, that's not necessarily true either. It might take another 10 minutes and it looks like it's done. It might look like it's way over here and it's going to take another hour to finish, and it might zip right on across in the next 3 minutes and be finished. So the lesson there is just be patient. Now, the computer's doing all the work right now. If you need to get up and use the restroom, or go get something to eat, clean your house, whatever, you know, you can always come back and see if it's done with a particular scan. This isn't something that you gotta, you know, sit by the hospital bed and hold its hand while it's getting well. You start the scan, you can walk away, come back later and see if it's finished. Only reason I'm sitting here is I'm making a video, and if I wasn't making the video, I could be watching YouTube on another computer, or I could be reading a book, I could be watching Netflix, I could be browsing the internet, I could be writing in the comment section in the newspaper, which I like to do. I like to blog. There's a host of things that I could be doing other than sitting here holding the camera in front of the laptop. But this is for y'all's benefit. And I'm trying to entertain while we're waiting for the paint to dry. So I'll put it down here and you can kind of see what some of the stuff is going through. Now, each of these cleaning programs, see where they have recovery, immunize, update, donations, spybot, or search and destroy. All right. You notice I didn't click on all those extra little tabs. All right. If you want to get in there and play with those, and it's your computer, great. If you mess something up, it wasn't in my video. I didn't tell you to do it. So, you know, don't say, well, if you didn't warn us about clicking on this and doing that. Well, I'm just showing you step-by-step instructions on how to do a normal cleanup using these programs. So if there's something I didn't click on, you know, click on it at your own risk. And also, I'll throw another disclaimer out. I've seen this in other videos. This video is for information purposes only. I take no responsibility whatsoever for problems you may be having with your personal computer, or any problems that you may feel these cleaning programs create on your computer post cleaning scan or whatever. I've never had a bad experience using these programs. That's not to say that it's not possible that a bad outcome could result if there was already a corruption of some type, and there was something was bad in the registry and it cleaned those particular files in the registry and threw them away, and you restarted the computer and it wouldn't restart. That's always a possibility, but I've never had that happen. And I've been in a computer software systems analyst for 20 years. I've been running a private computer repair business for 10 years, and I've never had issues with the Spybot program or the Malwarebytes program or the Glares Utilities program. So, you know, keeping my fingers crossed, but use these at your own risk. So we're still waiting on the paint to dry. I wonder if there's a way for me to prop this so I can. Ooh. So it generated this message here. It says error during check, virtual mode, out of memory, out of memory. I've seen this happen the other day on another scan, and I'm not really sure what that means, to be quite honest. So it's still scanning, but it's generating these error messages as well, and I have no idea what those mean. So, none whatsoever. Now, maybe it's maybe it was scanning. Oh, you know what? Scan just finished. So it finished at 14 minutes 13 seconds. It found 3 problems. It found 2 problems with this one. See, there's 2 entries, and it found 1 problem with that program, 1 entry. If I hit the little expand button down here under this one, you can see both entries. So that's where they're located, and that one's just going to be located in one location. So we are finished scanning. Again, this up here, I don't know what this means. And like I said, I've only seen that once before. It was on a different computer, but I have seen it once before. Still hadn't figured out what it's telling me. And everything is pre-checked here. So I'm going to come up here where it says Fix Selected Problems because they're checked, so they're selected. So I'm going to click Fix Selected Problems right there. It says you are about to remove these entries. Do you want to continue? Well, that was the whole purpose of the scan, so yes. Right. And we got an error message here. It says failed to load program file, spybot, search and destroy, del zip 179.del. So that's unusual, but such as it is, that's what we got. We're gonna hit OK. All right, these must be these error reports up here that we're getting, these three. So we're going to say OK again. And that time it deleted that top one. So we're going to do that one more time and see what happens. All right. And maybe it's still finding these things up here. And it looks like it got the bottom one as well. See if it got both of them. There's two of them down there. Can't get it to scroll. I won't scroll down while that window's open. So we're going to just hit OK one more time. Until it goes away, I guess. Interesting. Well, it's not doing anything. It's froze up, but I think we've deleted the problem. I'm not positive about our second PC Cleaner Pro thing, because normally we would have a green check for the second one, but it's not letting me do anything else. So let's see if we can close it and restart. It's not letting me do anything up there either. I'm trying to close it up here at the top. So it's completely locked up. So I'm going to show you an extra little step that we're going to do. We don't normally have to do. And if I can prop my phone up, it's not going to work. Maybe this is heavier. Nope, that's sliding too. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control Alt Delete on my keyboard. So Control Alt, and up here in this corner, delete. There. So Control Alt and delete. So I'm going to hit all three of those at once. And when I do, I get this task manager, this window pops up here, which includes Start Task Manager. And I'm going to select Start Task Manager. And when I do, it opens the Applications tab. Notice that's the one that sticks out a little further. And the Spybot program is the only program that's showing open, and it's not responding. See where it says RE? If I spreaded that over a little more, it would say not responding. In fact, let me do that. So for some reason it's not responding. So I'm going to highlight that. And so I've highlighted it, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say End Task. So there's my screen. Windows Task Manager, under Applications, Spybot Search and Destroy, End Task. Alright, and we got this firewall popped up. It says this program is not responding. To return to Windows and check the status of the program, click Cancel. If you choose to end the program immediately, you will lose any unsaved data. To end the program now, click End Now. So that's what we're going to do. Click End Now. And it's still saying not responding, but We shall see. They're going to end. And our processes, we got 26 processes running, but look at the CPU usage. And it finally did close that SpyBot Search and Destroy program, so it's completely closed. And now we've only got 25 processes running. We had 26 a minute ago. And physical memory is at 15%, CPU usage is at 0. So we're going to close our Task Manager program. Alright, we are still in safe mode, so we're going to restart the computer. Now, we need to restart anyway for the Malwarebytes program, and pretty much also for the SpyBot program. I feel confident that 2 of the 3 infection points with the SpyBot program were deleted, and possibly the 3rd one as well. So the computer's restarting. I'm not hitting anything on the computer keyboard, so it's starting up in normal mode. So we've seen a couple unusual things with this tutorial that I don't normally see. We did find some malware infections that we removed, and with some of the cleaning programs, and in others that I was expecting to find some infections, I didn't find any. And then we also had the little bug with the little hiccup, speed bump with the SpyBot Search and Destroy program. So this is the normal startup screen. Sometimes you might get a pop-up screen from the Malwarebytes program saying that it ran and it detected some stuff and it removed it. This time it's not telling us anything, so that's fine. Alright, so we have, to recap, if I come back into the Toolbox folder over here, Computer Toolbox, we have run, starting at number 1, Cleanup program cleans the history. 2, Internet Options cleans the history. 3, Clears Utilities cleans the registry. We ran all the Rootkit removing programs, which is 4A, B, C, and D. We got to Malwarebytes and anti-malware and SpyBot Search and Destroy, which we went into safe mode to run. The Malwarebytes program finished, and I think the Malwarebytes program found something. I don't remember now. My memory's kind of short. The SpyBot program found 3 infection points, and yeah, the Malwarebytes program cleaned 26 infection points, and we think it did it successfully. The SpyBot program removed, it identified 3. It said it removed 2 before the program locked up. Now, if we wanted to, we could rerun the SpyBot program a second time. The first time it took 14 minutes, so probably take another 14 minutes to repeat. We could do it from safe mode, or we could do it from regular mode. But we could run it again and just see if we get a clean report or not. Now that number 7A, that is that program from Microsoft. It's called the Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool. Now I'm going to spread this little column out so you can actually see the whole title. So 07A, Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool for Windows 7 64-bit systems, downloaded 12/28/2017. So that is 7A. That is an optional program that we can run. On this particular computer, I'm not going to do that. Well, I guess I can for the tutorial. I can start the process. And just to show you what it looks like as it opens. 07B is Hitman Pro. Alright, Hitman Pro is an excellent cleaning program, but this is a 30-day trial version of this program. So once you open it and you use it, the computer will save in a different location, a hard to delete location, a hidden location, the fact that you've activated the product to use the free trial of it for 30 days. After that clock indicates the 30-day period has expired, the Hitman Pro program will no longer work. It was just a 30-day trial. At that point, if you want to continue using it, they're going to want you to purchase it. And I love the program, but I don't like purchasing extra software that I don't absolutely need to purchase. and I try to do the same thing for my clients. So I have nothing against Hitman Pro. I think it's a great product, but I only will actually, that's a raw program sitting there. I will only install it and run it if I have a problem that I feel like I need the Hitman Pro program to get rid of. That after I've run all these other cleaning programs and I still have the problem, I'll try the Hitman Pro. But I do it with the knowledge that I'm only going to be able to use it for 30 days. And more than likely, I'm only going to use it that one time in that 30 days. And then if I ever need it again, it's going to have to be purchased for that particular computer. All right. So I'm not even going to launch the Hitman Pro. It's kind of like super optional. But the 07A malicious software removal tool, I will launch it just to show what it looks like as it opens. And then semantic endpoint protection, which is 08U, that is the antivirus scan. I'll launch it to show what it looks like. In fact, I'll probably launch it and let it run a full antivirus scan before I do this update to Windows 10. I don't want to update to Windows 10 and carry over any malware infections or viruses or anything. I mean, my 84-year-old dad has been using this computer on a daily basis, so I just want to be safe, you know. So anyway, 07A Windows malicious software removal tool, and that is the December 2017 version of that. It says, here's the Windows firewall. Do you want to allow the following program to make changes to your computer? And all it says is Microsoft Corp. Yes. All right. And it is opening slowly. I'm going to go ahead and close my Computer Toolbox folder up here just by going up here and clicking on the red X. And although it looks like absolutely nothing is happening, it looks like, if we actually look over there where the pointer was, we see a little tiny wheel spinning, and that tells you that something is actually running in the background. And it finally opened Microsoft malicious Windows malicious software removal tool, December 2017. Notice this is December 2017, so it's the current version. And it says, welcome to the Microsoft Windows malicious software removal tool. This tool scans for and automatically removes prevalent malicious software. Click next to scan for and help remove specific malicious software from your computer. For more information on this tool, please see, and they give you a link. You don't need to click on anything but next if you're going to run this program. Next down here at the bottom. Alright. And let's finish reading the rest of this declaration statement. It says, view a list of malicious software that this tool detects and removes. This tool is not a replacement for an antivirus product. To help protect your computer, you should use an antivirus product. For more information, see Protect Your PC. They give you another link. So just to be curious, we're going to click on where it says view a list of malicious software that this tool detects and removes. I've never clicked on that before, but just for the video purposes, for training purposes, I'm going to click on it and let y'all see what it declares that it's looking for. Alright, so we're going to click on that link. So these are some of the infections that it looks for. And there's a scroll down here, so it goes on and on and on. Alright, so all those little malware infections, viruses, it will look for. You don't have to know what any of these are. You just know that you don't want them. I remember that one there, that Conflicker. I remember that. That was a big time way back in the day. Alright, so that's all the little things that it says it looks for. And we're going to just click OK to close that window. So we're back to where it says Windows malicious software removal tool, December 2017. And if we hit next, we will actually start the scan process. I guess I can cancel. Okay. Where it says scan type, please choose a type of scan. There's a quick scan that scans areas of the system that most likely to contain malicious software. If malicious software is found, you may be prompted to run a full scan. Well, guess what? You know, I don't ever run quick scans. I always run full scans. So a full scan scans the entire system. Note that this scan can take up to several hours on some computers. Well, guess what? This scan here, Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool, December 2017, will take like 5 or 6 hours to run on this computer. So, although I would, if I was going to run that scan, I would select full scan and I would come down here and say next and maybe next one more time. I'm not going to run this scan because I don't think it has anything. It's had Norton on it the entire time, and I think if there was any true viruses on here, they would have already presented themselves by now. Well, you know what? Since I'm going to upgrade to Windows 10, I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to select full scan. See, I talked myself out of it, or talked myself into it rather, and hit next. So it is now actually scanning. Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool, December 2017, and it is scanning, and that will take, it started at 12:27, which was a minute ago, and it will probably finish around, although that green bar popped up pretty quick, this will probably take 3, 4, 5 hours to finish. This is the longest scan that you're going to do on this computer using any program that I have. And then the other one that I can run as well, and I don't normally run these together, but if I'm going to, for the purpose of the training video, I'm going to go ahead and jump right to it. The Semantic Endpoint Protection. Semantic and Norton is the same company. Here is a box of Norton that I've used in the past. So Norton by Semantic, all right. Norton Security Deluxe. So I'm not sure which one is the master company, whether it's Norton or whether it's Semantic. But whenever you see Semantic, think Norton. Whenever you see Norton, think Semantic. It's the same company, all right. So when we see Semantic Endpoint Protection, we can think Norton Corporate Edition Antivirus. So this is. Let's just call this Norton Corporate Edition Antivirus. It's number 8. And we are going to run it elevated as administrator. So I'm going to put the pointer on it. I'm going to click on the, I'm going to click right here on the left side of the mouse to highlight it. I'm going to click on the right side to get the pop-up box. I'm going to come up here and run it elevated as administrator right here. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired, so I'm making a few mistakes. Alright. So this is the Windows Firewall. Do I want Semantic Endpoint Protection to run? Yes. Alright. So it's opening. I'm going to close my toolbox folder. Alright. So I've got the Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool, December 2017. I've got it running in the background, and I've got my Semantic Endpoint Protection popped up. Notice that this is green. This is the way you want it to look. Green means that the virus definitions are current or they're fairly current. See, it says protection definitions are current. So if you open that up and for any reason this was yellow or red, usually it just means you need to come over and do live updates and update your virus definitions. But we're not updating any software right now. We've already done that. We are going to come over here to where it says scan for threats. We're going to click on that link. So scan for threats. And this page here opens up. Scan for threats, semantic endpoint protection, scan for threats again, and it tells us active scan, it takes between 1 to 2 minutes. That's like that quick scan. We're not running a quick scan. And then the full scan scans your entire computer and can run in the background, and it takes between 30 minutes and 2 hours. So we're going to run the full scan right here. So I clicked on it. Now notice down here at the bottom, it just added this second little pop-up, right? This one existed before, this one just appeared. And we're looking at the screen, it doesn't look like anything's happened, that there's any change. But what this indicates is there's actually a second little box behind this big box. So if we drag this box down to peek behind it, we can see the second box, and it's already scanning for viruses. So we're just going to minimize, because it's a little quirk with the program where it can mislead you to think that nothing's happening. All right, on this bigger window here, I'm just going to hit the little minimize button right here, and I'm going to make it go down to the bottom toolbar down here and just sit there. And at that point, again, this is my Microsoft Windows malicious software removal tool scan. It's scanning for malicious software, and this is my Norton scan, my full Norton scan, scanning for true viruses, and it's just starting. So because this scan is running a full scan, and it may take hours, and this one might take by itself, if it was the only thing running, it might take 30 minutes to 45 minutes to run. Because they're both running together, this one is actually going to take longer to finish because the computer's doing more work with the same processors. But that's fine, we're just going to let it run. And I am going to just recap real quick, show you the one thing that we haven't done, and I'll kind of walk you through that process, but we're not going to actually make it the restore point. I'm just going to explain the process, so this video will be complete. You'll have cleaning steps 1 through 10 in their entirety. So let's pretend it's 3 hours later. The malicious software removal tool is completed. Whatever it finds, it quarantines or deletes, whatever, or it may not find anything. The Norton scan is completed. It's maybe in an hour, since the other scan is running as well. It finds things that either quarantines or deletes somewhere. Maybe it doesn't find anything at all. But it's gonna, if it does find things, it's going to give you the opportunity to see what it wants to do with it. It may say choose no actions, or it may give you the option to change the action. You may want to quarantine something that it wants to leave alone, or you may want to completely delete something that it only wants to quarantine. But anyway, it will give you a report in that window when it completes. But let's just say this program's finished, this program's finished. And whatever they're going to do, they've already done. They've already deleted, quarantined, whatever. All right. At that point, my recommendation is restart the computer a umpteenth time. So we would come down here to the start button. We would come over to where it says shut down. Hit the little over button. Select restart. Let the computer do a normal restart. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of walking through that process since we're in the middle of 2 scans right now. So the computer shuts down, it restarts. It should restart to this page, nothing special. At that point, we're going to come into the Computer Toolbox for the last time, and we're going to double click on the toolbox. When the toolbox opens, at that point we have done everything except defrag the hard drive and make a hard restore point. So I'm going to show you those 2 processes real fast. I'm going to just simulate doing them. I'm not going to actually do them. since we are actually still running some scans. So I'm going to select number 9, disk defragment. Just double clicked on it with the left side of the mouse, and we're just waiting for it to pop up. I have to double click on it again. It didn't. It's thinking. It may not have. Here it comes. Alright, so it sees the Dell Inspiron. It sees the last time that it had a complete run or defrag was on 8/19/2016. So that's been over a year since it's fully defragged the hard drive. So if I wasn't scanning, if I was done scanning for viruses doing 7A and number 8, which is my Norton scan, and I'd already restarted the computer, then the next thing I would do is I would open up this number 9 step. I would highlight that where it says C drive. Now, if there was a whole bunch of additional drives listed down here, I would use my little shift button right here, and I would highlight all of them, or I would use my control button. I would select them all, one at a time. But I would want to highlight every single drive that was listed here. Say if you have recovery partitions and other drive partitions, select them all, and then you come over here where it says disk defragment, and you click on that, or defragment disk rather. Click on that, and it will start the defragging process. And because this has been over a year since it's defragged, it may actually take 20-30 minutes for it to fully defrag. We don't know. Now, what I recommend is defrag the disk like 5 times in a row. So when it finishes the first time, it disk defragment a second time while it's still highlighted. And then when it finishes, do it again. Hit disk defragment a 3rd time, a 4th time, a 5th time. Each time it kind of cleans up little things that got left undone from the previous time, so it makes it a little more orderly and neat. And then once you're done defragging the hard drive, you close that. Reboot's not required. Come down here to step number 10. Use system protection to create and use hard restore points. Now, I added that entire statement. Alright, that's going to take you to a Windows page. So the Windows page that it's going to take you to is not the page we need to be on. It's one page away. So once we click on this, it's going to open us up a Windows page. We need to look on something on that Windows page that says System Protection. Alright, so use the System Protection link to create and use hard restore points. So I'm going to click on that like we're going to simulate doing that. Alright. And when I did, it opened up this Windows page, and that might look familiar to some of you. It says Control Panel, System and Security, and System. And on a Windows 7 computer, this is the page that shows what operating system you're using. This is Windows 7 Professional 64-bit. It shows us the manufacturer of the computer, shows us how much RAM is installed, whether it's a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system, and the extra gobbledygook on the Windows page. And let me check one other thing. And down at the very bottom, it tells us if Windows is activated or not. So I just wanted to see the full page, so I scrolled a little bit. Alright, but basically when it opens, that's what it's going to look like. Now somewhere on this page it says System Protection, because remember the link said use System Protection to create and use hard restore points. So it's not down there at the bottom, it's not over here. Guess what? It's right here. So click on that link for System Protection. And remember, this is after all the cleaning scans are done, after you've defragged the hard drive. Everything else is done. This is the last thing that we're going to do in the 1 through 10 steps. So we're going to click on System Protection. Alright, it's going to take us to this page here. Another Windows Firewall, System Protection Settings. You want to allow it to continue, we're going to say yes. We've seen this Windows Firewall before. Alright. Now, the next page that's going to open up is going to be, still thinking about it, see it spinning. Alright, so this is the page we're looking for. So system properties, and notice that it's on the system protection tab. So, and where it says well, let me back up just a little bit. Use system protection to undo unwanted system changes and restore previous versions of files. Alright, so that's the whole purpose of using the system protection page here. So what we're trying to do is make a hard restore point. We're saying we just spent over an hour and 40 minutes or more cleaning our computer. This is our once a month or once every 2 months worth of maintenance on this computer. And we felt like we've worked hard. You know, we hadn't quite worked up a sweat, but we want to be able to, you know, tie a ribbon around a tree or drop some breadcrumbs on the ground, so if we have problems later, we can try to get back to where we're at right here. Okay, so up at the top it says system restore. You can undo system changes by reverting your computer to a previous restore point. If we're trying to fix a problem that we've just created, we can come to this page and we can click on system restore, and we can try to roll the computer back prior to us messing the computer up or installing the program that messed it up or whatever. Alright, but if we don't have any restore points created, if the computer hasn't created any and we haven't manually created any, then that step, that little link right there is probably not going to help us. So what we're looking to do at this point in step number 10 is we want to create a manual restore point. So down here at the bottom where it says create a restore point right now for the drives that have system protection turned on. So this is where we're going to actually manually create our own restore point. And we're going to create it on, and it says that you can only do it on a drive that is turned on. So the protection is turned on the C drive. Sometimes it will list the D drive or recovery partition and some other little drives under it. But this one's only showing the one drive and the protection is turned on. So we can create a restore point for that drive. So I'm going to click on it and show you how I would do this process. Again, this is simulation because we're actually not quite finished with this cleanup. We're still running 2 scans and we still have to defrag the hard drive. But we're pretending that we're already to step number 10 for this training. So we're going to click on the link where it says, well, first of all, I would click on the link that I want to do the restore point for, just so the computer doesn't get confused. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on create. When I click on create, this box pops up here. It says system protection, create a restore point. Type a description to help you identify the restore point. The current date and time are added automatically. So you don't need to add the date or the time. Everybody says, well, write the date and the time in. No, don't do that because then it's going to be in there twice. So what I usually do, the Windows program, when it's installing Windows updates and doing other maintenance functions, a lot of times it will create restore points automatically. This is a manual restore point that I'm taking extra time to make myself. So if I ever need to restore the computer to a previous restore point, I want my hard restore points to jump out at me. So to do that, as I start typing in my little note to myself, I'm going to put my name. Oops, I'm fat thumbing it here. So I'm going to say Alright, it buzzed. Something buzzed at me, so maybe one of those cleaning scans finished already. I'm not sure. Anyway, so it says create a restore point, and I typed in my first name, and I basically just outlined what I've already done on this computer. Now, in this particular video, I didn't record any of my steps doing the software updates, but I did those previous to starting the video, and now we have completed the cleaning steps minus the 2 scans that are still running down here in the bottom, the Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool and the Norton scan. But we're pretending that we've already completed those 100%. And if I hit create, it will take about a minute or so to actually create that restore point. But it will say the restore point was created successfully. When you see that message, you can close this box here, hitting on the red X, and then you can close that gray X right there, and then you can come over here and close that. Provided that you've done all the other steps 1 through 10, at that point you're done cleaning your computer. So one thing that I tell my father in particular, but he never listens, and I tell my customers, a lot of times they never clean anything, but sometimes they do. But I tell everybody, when I service your computer, you have every single piece of software that you need for maintenance. You don't need to download any additional cleaning programs, any additional antivirus, any additional anti-malware programs. Everything that you need is in that toolbox. And most people just don't do any maintenance at all on their computer. They don't do any updates that don't happen automatically. It's your computer, you do what you want with it. But I show you the path to do your software updates, and I show you the path to run the cleaning programs yourself. If any of this seems like it's just way over your head, and it's been 6 months or a year since I've serviced your computer, and you haven't done any of this stuff, and you would just rather not be bothered by it, you would rather hire me to come back and pick up your computer, take it home, do the software updates and the cleaning scans, and bring it back the next day, that's my bread and butter. I have no problems doing that. But I'm also being ethical, and I am showing you how you can do this process yourself and save the service call fee if you so choose to. All right? But I'm more than happy to come and continue to customize and service your computer on a personalized basis, if that is what you choose for me to do. Just like people hire a maid to clean their house because they could scrub their own toilets and mop their own floors and sweep and dust, but they just would rather pay someone else. If you would rather for me to clean your computer, it's the same thing. It's just a different process, and I'd be more than happy to come. All right, this pretty much concludes my my tutorial. My 2 scans are still running, so I'm just going to let these run overnight. If I'm still up in an hour or two, I'll check to see if either one of them's finished yet. If they're not, then whenever I go to bed and get up tomorrow, they should be finished by then. If I can get my little card to stand up, maybe not. But again, I am Roy King. My little business is Custom Computer Detailing. I'm located in Natchez, Mississippi. I've got approximately 450 to 470 total customers in the surrounding 50-mile radius from Natchez, Mississippi. I've been doing this as a business for about 10 years. I've got maybe 35, 40 well, I've got about 40 businesses. I've got about 15 churches that I do IT work for, and the rest of my customers are primarily residential clients at this time. But if I can assist you in any way, here's my contact information. Particularly if you're in the Natchez or Miss Lou area of Mississippi and Louisiana, please give me a call. I would love to service your computer, and referrals are highly appreciated. If I've serviced you in the past and you like the work that I did for you, please recommend me to your friends and family members and church members. Again, this is my picture. This is the back side of my business card. All right. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, or feel free to text or call me. And y'all have a great day.